name's Brad. I'm myself a trade. I came from the mine. G'day guys, welcome back to Tradio Podcast, proudly powered by Trade Tools. For those of you that don't know me, my name's Brad. I myself am a tradie, but I've recently hung up the tool belt to bring you guys podcasts and videos courtesy of Trade Tools. So in this podcast, I interview tradies and people at different stages in their careers and from all walks of life. We'd like to say thanks for listening to Tradio and enjoy. Episode of your favourite podcast, Radio. And today we have a special guest, Dean Harrison. Just give us a bit of an intro into yourself, mate.
I'm Dean Harrison. I'm the founder of Australian Yowie Research, also known as the Yowie Hunters in the media. It all started for me back in the 90s when I was thrown in the deep end. I wasn't looking for them, they found me. As a result of the life-changing encounter of thirst for knowledge and lack of...
Back in the 90s. Oh, I beat you, Dean. The mine was 1978. You heard him say it himself. Hi, Dogface. What do we got? Oh, you like the T-shirt? Let's have a look. Is that right? You see, and then we read me back. Central Coast. Went to go into a restaurant or something there one day, and anyway, it didn't really work. What have we got? Back again. Oh, you can sit down there. He's getting old. I'm quite sure I'll miss it. And on Paranormal something or other. Part 1, Part 2. Oh, Portal. Paranormal Portal with Brent Thomas. Yeah. I actually had to laugh as I watched it, and well, I'll let you watch it. I call it like you'd be watching me and somebody's hit me picking the nose and we're doing something inappropriate. Yeah, it's one of those ones. I just thought it was funny. I said that. I just laughed. I sent Dean Harrison an email. I said, oh, I love the bit on blah, blah, blah. Send the timestamp. He said, oh, I don't get it. Anyway. And he really didn't get it. Reported Yowie sightings. Okay, here we go. I don't know if you can hear that. That's him drinking again. Never stops drinking. Menu. Let's have a look. Shut the door so I don't think. He always does it. Every time I go out there and talk in the kitchen, he walks, Mr. Dog walks in there, slop, 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 slop. Turn on the camera. Slop, 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 slop. You find him better sleep, not a noise. But as soon as you go there to talk to somebody, you'll put the YouTube on, slop, 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 slop. I'm quite sure he doesn't know what he's doing, but it's just funny. My mate said to me the other day, he said, your dog always does that. Every time we sit in the kitchen to get over a cuppa, here it comes. What do you want, dog lips? Going back on my bed in the past. Audio reports. Oh, geez. Yeah, Dean Harrison's really cleaned up his act. He's changed a lot of the old footages into these animation ones, where now he puts the animated little picture on it. He's also taken a couple of ways. He's taken a couple down. There was one that was out from Mudgee going to Uland, up in the mountain there, and the woman said she come around this dirt road. He's taken that one down. I thought that was a beauty, you know. But anyway, but it's his channel. I was watching a very interesting comment by Will Smith back in 97, 98. And he was in Sydney, I think, for the opening of Men in Black and Sydney swimming pool. But anyway, I did meet him one day. I just walked in the pool, sat up on the stairs and with myself. Oh, hello, Will. Just like the casual. I was a cab driver, you know. I'm used to meet all the celebrities. Meant nothing to me. He's just a bloke. Might be rich. He might be a YouTuber now, and he's got a big YouTube channel because he's media stardom. Same thing, as long as you're happy. I think the best YouTube, but the best go away is 23,000 views. That's YouTube number 1, 27 minutes and 40 seconds. And the second one is Yowie Bigfoot sighting, and I think that's the one. I'm just trying to get it. I'm going to read some stories. Yeah, that's it. Wentworth Falls. And I drove out there to Wentworth Falls. It's number 2. I actually went out there on the road where this guy said he was out there, I don't know how many years ago. And he said this thing just walked out of the bushes. And it clearly is. When you drive at Wentworth Falls, and he says you drive up a dirt road, I mean, there was potholes, and you go boom, 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 boom. You get in, you'll see up there in the Blue Mountains. I did one up there and I found those barbecues and picnic grounds around Zigzag. And the cars just, you know, all over the place, you know. And you can't drive more than 10 k's an hour. No way. You rip your bloody wheels off, you know. And he reckoned he freaked out and these things come walking out. Well, I said, well, how'd they get up the side of the cliff? It's a sheer drop. I mean, I've done a video. I actually sucked the camera over the edge. It was nothing down there. I mean, it was gone, you know. Let me see if I'll pull it up on maps for people around the world that don't know where I'm talking about. Wentworth Falls, and so I'm trying to look at this and do that at the same time. And it's one of these. See how good I am. There you go. Look at that. Spot on. Geez, I'm a good hominoid. Right. The rock face goes straight down. You can look at the picture. You can see it. Over there. That's the Three Sisters. And over here is Wentworth Falls. And this is where that guy went down. Because there's Lawson, who was the explorer who went over the where's that over there? Just so you get enough of it. You can see that this is a satellite picture, right? These aren't little dents in a bit of mud. This is a mountain range, right? But they're 2,000-3,000 meter drop, right? 2 or 3 miles straight down. So see what I'm talking about up here at Katoomba? This one over here, right? So look, there's Wentworth Falls. This is where that guy was. He's right out there on that point there. That's Wentworth Falls. And that's where he was. And I went right out there. And I got right up to the fence where it says the Aboriginal grounds and you can't get in and all this sort of thing. And I walked up against the fence, hung onto the fence, and the fence went like this, and the pole went like that, and the pole went like that. And I went, you know, it was like down there a bit. And I hung on, I could put my arm out and be 1,000 feet down. Bloody dangerous. And I was out there all by myself. So I mean, you know, I could have, you wouldn't have found me. And nobody would have found me for about 24, 36 hours because it's a dead end road and it was COVID lockdown and, or not lockdown, but people, the only people going out there were people that would walk all the way out there that were locals from Wentworth Falls. And it's about 8 to 10 miles. So some people drive out 2/3 way, and they walk up to the end and they walk back to their car, and they sort of have this sort of certain section they want to walk or whatever reason. But either side of this road, as you can see in that picture, it is just a sheer drop. So it's just an absolute sheer drop. I think the black shadow, that's the shade from the sun, right? Anyway, so I went out there and I thought, and this guy said he was out there 10, 11 o'clock at night. Well, there's no wallabies out there. There's no kangaroos out there. Didn't see any scat or poo, whatever you want to call it, crap. Mainly birds. There's no water. I mean, look, you can look there yourself. There's no water out there. There's no lakes, no ponds. There's no nothing. There's just bush. That's all. Sandstone and gum trees and iron bark and not even paper bark. Paper bark need water. So a lot of people don't realise that. You only get paper bark trees around where there's a lot of water, because paper bark, that's what it's called, paper bark, because then they take it off, peel it, and the Aboriginals used to mush it up and make whatever. Anyway, so that story there was a good one, but I mean, you don't deny the guy, could have happened. I don't know. So let's see what else we got. Close my page off, did I? No, I didn't. That's good. Get rid of that one, get rid of that one, get rid of that one, get rid of that one. I'm just closing in all these unwanted things on my phone. Oh, God, got everything on there. Oh, Mr. Dog. Yeah, done a video of Mr. Dog doing his Devon trick. I had one view. It's like an hour ago. Mr. Dog, yeah. I don't know if you like dogs. If you like dogs, just go with Mr. Dog. He's getting old. Just an old dog, likes eating his Devon and just his eyeballs light up, and it's just a bit of fun. Hello, Crouton Bear, and hello, Drippool 26 and Joshua Bartley and I Rocker. What's a bit over there? Paul Peter's something over there. I can't think of his name. He's over there. Hang on, I'll tell you what his name is. Matt's off-road recovery, Casey's off-road recovery. Hello, Chris, my boy Chris, and his lovely wife, Cassie. Yes Theory. Yes, I've been watching Yes Theory lately. YESTHEORY. Yes Theory. They travel around. I don't know. There seemed to be a promotional group of think positive and be happy. You know what mark on my shirt? I just realised a bloody coffee mark on it. Anyway, sort of watched it. I did watch it. Must have missed it. I don't know. Who else you got? Who's he guy thinking of? Where is he? Oh, I know. I'm going in the wrong one. He's on Messenger. Yeah, M Hominoid on Messenger. I tell people that, so people want to find me. Hello, Nathan D. You know where you are, down at Padstow. We've got Craig Young. He knows who he is. There's plenty of Youngs around. We've got Frankie Hawk and a few others. And where is he? Where's someone I'm looking for? I've lost him. He's a YouTuber. He's over there in England. He doesn't do hominoids. He does things about Australia like I Rocker does. Well, that's a great thing about me. Like I said on my channel, I do a variety of things. So if you want to watch yowie stories like now, we'll get on there with the yowie story. If you don't know what a yowie is, it's a hominoid. That's what I'm just a hominoid. So, and basically it's people. Oh, just had him. Guy from America. Oh, I can't. Toronto. Oh, the other thing on Sydney trains. And because I do hominoids, Bigfoot, yowies, Sasquatch, I do Sydney trains, New South Wales trains, disused rower lines throughout the state of New South Wales, and tourism because I travel around the east coast of Australia in a motorhome. So, of course, all more linked. Everything's to do with Broken Hill to Tweedheads, Cairns to Melbourne, and went around a great big bus. Right? If you didn't know that, it was that great big one there, right? And by the way, that's my dog sitting in the driver's seat. You see my dog? That's Miss Maradog. And the funny thing was, she died on the 7th, the 8th, 09 at 3:45 p.m. 3:45 at 7:89. Just one of these weird numbers. Anyway, yeah, we report a Yowie sighting, homepage, our forum, witness sketches. All right, let's have a look at these. Let's just see what they come up with. Oh, here's an old photo. Oh, that's an interesting one. Oh, they put the AYRO Manja Dairy and Dilla Dairy Forest in 2011, 2016. Both were said to behave in completely different manners. All right. Now this, now it's just the other Yowie story, Fingal Head. I didn't know they had this. Sketched by K Slab, witnessed by a group of locals sitting on the side of the sandy road. When it looked up as they came closer, they realised it was not human. This is Fingal at Tweed Heads, right? This is the one they're talking about. This is a little man. New South Wales, 1991, sketched by K Slad, right? Witnessed by a group of locals, Aboriginals. Hello. Yeah, how are you? Just doing a video. Can I call you back? All right. All right, I'll call you back when I finish. Should be about half an hour. All right. Okay, thanks. Never misses, does it? It's a video, somebody's going to ring you. Witnessed by a group of locals sitting on the side of the sandy road. When it looked up as they came closer, and then they realised it was not human. Owens Creek, Queensland, witnessed Yowie scattered by brother searching for his hunting dogs. Mr. Bradford confronted by a huge hairy creature standing next to a tree and grasping it with its right hand. Now this is in Owens Creek, Queensland. Now I'm not sure where that is. I can look it up. But you can Google it yourself. Get out your phone. Owens Creek, Owens Creek. This is what he's saying. And he put a bit of colour into it. So that makes it a little bit better. Trying to get the camera. I think the camera light on the phone is a bit much sometimes. I think you got the general idea. Look, oh, there it is, sort of. You can see it. Anyway. Oh, this is a regular one. Creature running along the side of the road on Boy. We've all seen this one. A witness sketch of Waluga, Queensland Yowie, which is very similar to the first one. The big shoulders. Brother Gippsland, Victoria. From the BEM River in Gippsland, Victoria. So there's all different shapes and sizes. It sort of look like an ET alien, but anyway. But you notice still, it's not an offence to draw genitalia. I'm not being sick, but I mean, you see a dog, and people draw a dog's stomach and the two legs, but we all know when we look at a boy dog, we see Freddy sticking out. Or if you draw the picture of the back of a dog, nobody draws his right? It's just politeness, right? But I think it was significant in the sense that it then defines clearly to you. That's my point. Clearly, women have breasts, males have penises. It's not being sexually rude. It's not being disgusting. It's a fact of life, right? Like a female dog. See big nipples come down, which has all the puppies. Everybody accepts it, even little kids. Oh, that's Mrs. Dog's going to feed her puppy some milk. I mean, even 4-year-olds. Because, obviously 4-year-olds has been weaned off mummies, 2 years or a year and 3 years before. Anyway. But still, people have a lot of hang-ups. Now this is the one I was talking about, Big Red, and I said that I read the story in this last episode just down the channel. I said Canungra, and the guy said he went up to Canungra at the back of the army base and he's paddling up the river. Well, this is the one I talked about. I said, well, his name's Big Red, and he comes out of the army base. But this is the story, the picture of the story that the guy drew of how big it was, and I said his nipples are up against the bonnet of the truck. If you can see that. That's a big truck. So obviously the guy's got to climb up into the truck. And we're all seeing this picture down the bottom heaps of times. And we're all seeing that one up there at the top heaps of times. That's a standard sort of, if you look at it, it's basically the same. If you look at that bottom one, you quickly look at the top one, it's basically the same. It's like to say little green grey aliens. So, and also you might notice too that, how they put a curve in their foot down to your hip. So they've got the arm down to the hip. Now I'm going to stand up. I'm going to stand back a bit. I'm referring to the exercise done by Funker, T-H-I-N-K-E-R, Funker, T-H-U-N-K-E-R in the USA. I think he's in Colorado or somewhere. And he done a story on it, busted. 33 degrees, and the gait of the walk and the angle of the foot. Now, that is the walk of a human being, right? Because we only move our leg a little bit. Doesn't matter if we're wearing flip-flops, thongs, as we call thongs, you call flip-flops. I know in America, thongs are knickers, underpants, speedos, whatever. So you versus English and Australian languages. Anyway, let's have a look. Oh, you get me to stand up. Yes, I had been cleaning out the house, everybody. I had been cleaning up. And my boarder's gone. She decided to move out. Anyway. Now, pardon me. My God, I'm in a pot belly. Let's put the camera down a bit. My hands is. There's my hip. Look. Where's my hip point? There's my hip point. There's my hips. Now, they also have his arms hanging down here. So how come ours sit up here? Well, that's the point I'm just trying to make. Yes, the flag was donated by Crouton Bear over here in Houston, Texas. So thank you, Crouton. And I always say to Crouton, she's got my back. I love my Crouton Bear. I still watch. Crouton Bear was a YouTuber, used to be on, I'll get back to yours. Used to be on YouTube. Now she moved over to Rumble because she wasn't happy. And she had 1,000 views, thousands. but she wasn't making anything out of it. She went out to Rumbold, and now she makes money over there. But I don't know how many people she got on there. I haven't seen her for a while. I'm dealing with these other things I've had issues with. That's my problem. Anyway, I've got to hurry. Anyway, let's get a couple of stories in. They're going to ring back on the story. Right, we did A in New South Wales. Hey, that's not a clear picture, isn't it? Isn't that now that new computer, eh? Not like the old one over there. Yeah, look, we see all the more junk I've had to bring in here because, yeah, bloody borders. I'm not sure all my bloody stuff. I did Abercrombie River, Aboriginal POV, Alstonville, Ashford, Bangalow, 1969. Here we go. Now, Bangalow. So this is what you like about me. I can tell you where the town is without even getting the map out. You got the Coolangatta, New South Wales, Queensland border. Coolangatta is Queensland. Tweed Heads is on the south. Tweed River, Fingal Head, Fingal Yowie. That goes down. And on the other side of the Tweed River is South Tweed, Chindra, Bonora Point, Chindra. And then from Chindra, you come down on the motorway, fly straight down the guts, and it goes all the way right down to Billy Nudgel. Billy Nudgel comes in past the Byron Bay turnoff, the most easterly point of Australia with the solar powered train is there at Byron Bay. Go and Google that, YouTube it, Byron Bay solar powered train, the only one in the world. Tim, T-I-M, Tim, up at Lithgow Mine Museum. He designed all the electrics and everything else, the solar panels, the traction motors up there at Lithgow, west of me here. And now it's 900 kilometres north of Byron Bay and runs along 1.5 kilometres of train track. And runs totally nothing on solar panels, goes down the batteries, and then it goes into the motors. And then when they roll, they put a bit of something or other, and power flows back into the batteries. And they've got solar panels on the station. Very interesting train to go and look at. It was actually a train I drove when I was 18 years old with my father, both sets. I've actually driven both trains 40 odd years ago when they were both diesel powered. And they used to run out here on the Richmond line to Riverston. So I actually used to drive with my dad. My father was a train driver. I was a station assistant. And I used to sit, Dad said, come on, son, you can drive the train. And he said, I'll bend up and Dad, move over like this. And I'd sit down next to him, take the brake off. That's it. That's all you do. You know, just pull the accelerator. And then just knock it off, roll uphill, put on the brake, come to a stop. So Mr. Hominoid, I've done a lot of things. I drove a steam train when I was 10, from East Richmond to Clarendon, over to Windsor, to Mulgrave, to Vineyard, to Riverston. And then Dad drove it up into Schofields to get out of the hill. What else did I do? You know, I was 10 years old and I drove a steam train. How many people can say they drove a steam train when they're 10 years old? You know, with actual paying passengers on the back. On the New South Wales Government Railways back in 1971. I mean, anyway, Byron Bay turn off, go up, and you go on the motorway into the tunnel of the mountains, and it heads down towards Ballina. Where you turn to the west, to the right, heading south, and you go to a town called Bangalow. Bangalow is the old Pacific Highway. Used to go into Bangalow, over the railway bridge at Bangalow train station, and then come down the main street of Bangalow. That was the Pacific Highway. In my previous story about live chat talking about Bundaberg rum and drop beers. That's the Pacific Highway. The main street of Bangalow was the Pacific Highway. It was 2 single lanes, all the way from Sydney to Brisbane. They used to wind through every bloody town. That's another example. Bangalow, right? Now this story is a Bangalow. 1969. So picture it. You got the old Pacific Highway comes up from Sydney, comes up the main street of Bangalow, turns right past the train station, goes over the railway line, and comes back down the edge of the town and heads out down towards the coast, heading north, heading back towards the east. So it comes up west, goes north, goes east, and then goes north, right? And then right at the top there's a roundabout. You still see in Google Earth, Bangalow, Bangalow, Bangalow. And then you see the road there goes off to Lismore, right? And it's on top of a hill. It was full of bananas, and there's water around. There's fresh water. There's dairy cattle, vegetation, bush, wild turkeys, because there's heaps of wild turkeys down at Byron Bay, and Broken Head, which is another tourist attraction south of Byron Bay, Broken Head headland. I've done a video down there somewhere. You see wild turkeys coming out in the rainstorm. There's wild turkeys up there, mate. It's something there for something to live on. If you're a bushman, you can go and live on it. So I'm just trying to set the setting for you. So you've got the old highway, and the road goes to Lismore, and there's food, there's water, there's vegetation, there's bananas, there's turkeys, there's apples, there's fruit trees, there's dairy cows, there's fish in the streams, there's willow trees, there's ironbark, paperbark trees, there's open meadows, and then again there's mountain ranges, because you've got to go back down the mountain range to get off Bangalow, right? So I hope I set the setting, right? So there's plenty of food. The time was between midnight and 1 o'clock in the morning. My friend and I were walking along the Pacific Highway on a completely flat terrain with trees along each side of the road, with the moonlight showing the centre white painted road markings for quite a distance ahead. Now, what did I say before I read it? Pacific Highway. This is when it was a Pacific Highway. Flat terrain with trees along either side of the road. Paperbark, ironbark trees. Road in the middle of moonlight sun. The centre white line painted in the middle of the road. Because it was just two single lanes. That's a Pacific Highway. Concrete as you go up the main street of Ballina. And I'll do a street view of Ballina in a minute. So if he's on the Pacific Highway, now let's work it out. Pacific Highway comes from Ballina into Bangalow, and then Bangalow, it comes out to the lookout above Byron Bay. So let's work out exactly where this guy was, or lady was. The edge of the road were in shadows, which is why we were walking 5 hours along the centre of the road. We had not seen a vehicle on the road for over 3 hours as we were hitchhiking Sydney to Brisbane. Our last lift dropped us off in Ballina at a coach stop near the overhead railway line. Overhead railway line, which is what I just said, over the train tracks at Ballina, Bangalow. Dropped us off at Ballina at an overhead rail line. There's no railway line at Ballina. That was closed down in 18. Chris, leave me a comment. When did the Ballina railway line close? I've done a story on the Ballina train line. It's down there on my live chat. When did that close down? 1925? No, that can't be right. Ballina at a coach stop near an overhead rail line. No, the only overhead rail line, he's actually saying overhead rail line. You're back in, are you? Oh, look at you just pushed the door open. What do you want? Don't look at me like that. Don't tell me lies. Yeah, anyway, now on the railway, I do the disused railway lines. Overhead railway line. Now that to me, you like this? Look, it doesn't bite me. The railway line comes from Lismore. The road goes over the top and the rail goes underneath, comes down to Bangalow train station, goes down the hill and then turns right, and that's over the old Bangalow to Byron Bay Road. That's a level crossing. So I don't know where the overhead rail line is. That's a bit of a conflict, I think. That makes a bit of a doubt in the story. because I've walked that train track 131 kilometres, 131 bridges, viaducts, and trestles. I've inspected the lot. I'm the guy who walks them, right? You don't believe me? I'll see if I can show you a picture of a railway bridge. Where's one of the railway bridge? God. Oh, that's me. Oh, look, there we go. there's me bus back up in Newcastle, up in the floods about 25 years ago. That's me sitting there without a shirt on. Look. Where's the railway one? Look, I've got so many bloody old photos. Something bloody funny. How about this guy? He got in my bus there one day. That was at the, where was I? You look at his makeup. He was called the Smiley Clown up there at west of Coffs Harbour. Can't think of it. I'll get back to it. Oh, there you go. My limos. I used to make limos. There you go. Anybody wants to call me bullshit artist? And there's the old horse shed up the back. See, 3 doors. That's me. Right. Yeah, I've done a lot of things. What do you want? You're missing out on something. That's Moolumbar. That's across the road there from the Moolumbar railway line, which is on this Bangalow. Where's the bloody railway bridge? Give you an idea of some of these bridges, what it used to look like. Oh, come on. Could be one here somewhere. What's that? No, that's the one I call Australia Home ad. Peter Allen. The Qantas kids are singing. They sit there, call Australia home. That's what that is. That's up in North Queensland. That's a bus at Ballina, actually. That's Ballina, just down the road from Bangalow. That's where I took that photo. That's in the main park off the main the old Pacific Highway, Ballina. And that was in there next to the park. And there was another motorhome, and I took his photo. But anyway, I'll get back to it. Trying to see one of. God. Oh, there we go. Still can't find a railway one. Can't find a railway one at Bangalow or anything, you know. But that's American guy from New York, and the sailor mate underneath me mate. That was my bus. We were driving up through Byron Bay. And it's stinking hot, as you can tell, obviously the guy sitting there with no shirt on. That's in the front of the bus. Notice the timber wall behind his head? That made up the living room. That's what I said. I did travel around the East Coast of Australia motorhome for 17 years. So it didn't have a spotlight. And I've moved the curtain forward and then I plug it in the generator. And I've shown the spotlight. That way then I wouldn't have to take the spotlight up and down all the time. And here I am building it. Putting the timbers, and there's the painted glass window. And there's the 2 spare glass panes for the front door. And that's where my double bed mattress used to sit. And that was up the back of the bus. Had a queen size double bed. So you imagine how big it is. It's 8 foot wide. I just killed my phone. Where's a bloody railway bridge? Man, I used to get. Oh, here we go. Oh, there we go. There's the bus. That's at Moolumbar. That's how big it was. There's me up the top. 163 kilos. And if you want to look that up, there's the back of Taylor's car yard. That's where that was taken, down next to Tweed River. Taylor's car yard. Taylor Made Cars. Taylor. Taylor Made Cars. And there's a vacant lot behind it. That's where that was. And that big tree's still there. That's me standing up there. And that's his cars. And that there is the old the old Batlow train station. That's now been bulldozed. That's long gone. Not Bangalow, Batlow. Anyway, let's get back on the story. So that's what I mean. I've been everywhere, man. And on that song, Everywhere Man, it says Batlow, right? So yeah, I have been there. I should put them up there on the YouTube website as a photo thing. But anyway, right. Start again. The time was between midnight and 1 o'clock in the morning. My friend and I were walking along the Pacific Highway, complete with flat terrain, with trees along either side of the road. The moonlight showing on the centre of white painted road markings for quite a distance ahead. We were walking for 5 hours. Well, I'd say they would have been south of, because they said they were coming from Ballina. We had not seen a vehicle on the road for over 3 hours, and we were hitchhiking to Sydney to Brisbane. Our last lift dropped us off at Ballina at a coach stop near an overhead rail line. I don't think it would have been a railway line because there's no railway line down there. What do you say that? Creature appeared to stand over 6 feet tall while slightly stooped at the shoulders. The arms seemed to be a bit too long for a man. Now that's what I already said, longer than the man. See, I'll put my leg up. See, the use of their arms their hands come down to their knees when they stand up straight. Even though it had stopped and turned its head to look at us, we weren't able to discern a neck, right? Like me, a neck one would expect. It appears to have a slightly protruding forehead. The eyes were not clearly visible as its head had been bent forward a little, with a rather large mouth, and a chin seemed to be formed part of the chest. Do you think I do that well? Leave me a comment. Solid, but built very well, developed under the thought. As I have stated, it clearly turned its head to look at us. It was very solid built, with very well developed upper thighs and feet that looked like it had toes. The hips appeared to be narrow with flat. The hips appear to be narrow with flat as to open protruding buttocks. Now, do you know what that means? He's got a flat ass. He doesn't have a big round bum with a big bum crack, but it's just got a flat ass. Seen some of those, people have just got what we call them no bums. You see some people walk down the road, they can have big, see people with a big ass that sticks out like I used to have. I used to have a big ass, used to stick it right out horizontal. And the joke was they could sit 3 coffee cups in the back of my bum cheeks. I actually had a photo of it. I was that big. I was 163 kilos. It was disgusting. It really was. Now, my mum about 110. And 12 months ago, I was 86. So, thank you, coronavirus. Pose of protruding buttocks. The chest was barrel-shaped with shoulders slumped forward. It took 2 steps to our 3. So if we step, what do we step? We don't step a metre. We step approximately we're 24 inches, 2 feet between our feet when we walk. There's usually, if you walk and you freeze and you get somebody to measure it between your heel and your big toe at the back, it's usually about, I think it's about 24 inches on average. That's what we call it, our gait, G-A-T-E. When we realised it could not possibly our step for 3. This as it was walking along through dry leaves off to the left and beyond the tree line. When we realised it could not possibly be a 4-legged animal, we froze in the middle of the road. Up at this point, we had been silent, and we were both realised at the same time that it sounds not from a four-legged animal. We were so frightened that we could only whisper quietly to each other. As we stopped in the middle of the road, we heard footfalls, boom, boom, hesitate a moment, and then nothing. We stood frozen with fear. The sound started again, and this time we heard footsteps in the gravel on the roadside, and then this thing appeared in full view about 20 feet ahead of us and stopped in the middle of the road and slowly turned its head and stared at us. As we stood there experiencing a fear I'd never known, my friend and I screamed, all this thing at the thing moved briskly across the road, but it didn't run. It strode rather than ran into the trees off to the right. It's off to the right means it's heading towards the coast. We were then stopped only to hear muffled sound of it striding away. My mate and I stood in utter dismay, and both of us had tears streaming down our faces. We didn't move for a good 10 minutes, listening intently for any sounds before we started back the way we had come as fast as we could run. We eventually stopped breathless and we discussed what we had just seen and vowed each other that this would never be spoken as long as we both lived with fear of ridicule. This was an event that nobody would ever believe. This is not a joke. Other observations, 7 minutes before we heard anything, we both detected a foul smell, which we both jokingly blamed each other and thought we both knew that it had to be a rotting piece of roadkill somewhere on the side of the road. The smell became stronger as we walked along, and my mate had commented in a whisper that it must be a dead cow somewhere in the paddock off to the left, which seemed to be following us. Now, I said there's cows up there, which there is. There's dairy cattle and there's beef cattle. There's also goats and chickens, obviously, and ducks and geese. That's a very farming area. As this thing came into view at the middle of the road, the odour was incredibly strong, pungent. We discussed this later and both agreed that it was coming from once thing had passed, the smell faded and an odour that we'll never forget. At no time did this thing pose a threat to us. In fact, we both agreed it seemed to be frightened by our screams. About 10 years ago, I saw a photograph purporting to be a yowie, which I swear identical to what I had seen. I contacted my mate, discussed this photo, and we reminded me of the vow his words were to me. Mate, I never saw a thing that night, and I'll never talk about it either, ever. I told everyone a few years ago, and they had a visit from the police who asked me about doing drugs. So figure out, what do you think I have? What you saw I have. We never spoke again about this conversation. Now that's strange. If he said this happened in 1969 and he told his mates, this is another thing that doesn't make sense to me. Reminded me, his words, mate, I never saw a thing, and that I never told anyone about a few years ago. And then I had a visit from the police who asked me about doing a drugs. So forget about what I saw. Why would the police come around several years later asking him about something that he saw? I mean, did he go out and make a big public statement to everybody? Did he really go out and have a go at it? I got a like there from somebody. Hello, who's there? Someone was out there. Yeah, so that doesn't really make sense. I've never known the police to come around to me years later after my 1978 experience, right? Sorry, turn me back on you. Actually got the old Pacific Highway on this map. Let's have a look. Decent look, this old blood. Look at all this old stuff. Because see, what you've got to remember, all this stuff was way back before the internet. All this stuff was before you had maps on mobile phones. And you cannot buy these maps anymore. Where am I? Where am I looking? Well, that's Newcastle. I don't think this one only goes to New England. Does it go to the coast? What's that say? Can I see it? What's it say? That's 10 of, no, it doesn't. I have got another book here. Hang on. I don't want to rip it. See, I don't do like these other guys do in the studios and they set everything up and they pre-stop the camera and they do everything else and they edit it all out. I just do live, right? I just do it live. Where's my book gone? I did have the, I had that big road book with me. I took it up there to Bathurst. Probably buried. I leave everything up here. I thought I put it back. I think, Chris, can you come down here and clean up my room for me? The dog's going out there. Right, let's do it this way. So if he said he's walking from Ballina, bloody biro. I don't think you're going to be able to see that. I used to have a texture here, but these ex-bloody borders, they take everything. They said, you know, you set up a studio for yourself, every bastard's got to come in and take everything. All right, the highway used to go Ballina, Bangalow, right. There's Ballina, Bangalow, Byron Bay, Mullumbimby, Lismore. Right, that's where the highway used to go. So he used to walk from Ballina, and that's what he said, he walked 5 hours. And then you turn west and go up into Bangalow, go over the railway line, and then walk out and come out here to the Byron Bay turn off. And this here was the Byron Bay lookout, about here, which is the one he shows on the video about this Ballina story, right? That's where he's actually got the signpost. It's about there. It says Bangalow, Ballina, Lismore, right? He took the photo there, but the story he's talking about is down here. And I made a comment, and Dean Harrison said, I don't really give a shit. That's Byron Bay. Sorry, that's Mullumbimby. So what used to happen, you used to swing around the mountain range, go into Mullumbimby, and then go this way over to Mooball. And that's Lismore. There's Bangalow. That's Byron Bay. That's the most easterly point, BB, Byron Bay. Right? So if you come up from Sydney, you could turn left and go down Bangalow Road and go in Byron Bay on the north side. Sorry, the south side. Or go into Bangalow and come down the mountain range, down past Shooters Hill, no, St. Helena, and then you come back out here to Byron Bay, on the Byron Bay, and that there is Tyagra. And you come up here and you come out here, then you go out to Mullumbimby, and you come over here, and then over here, come back on the coast over here to Brunswick Heads, right? So these blokes are walking down here. Now, he talked about, he said, an overhead railway line. Well, the railway line used to be here. That's the railway line. Lismore, Bangalow, down to Byron Bay, around a big circle back up to Mullumbimby. So where was, and this is where he said he was walking. He said he walked off the coach stop, which is the old takeaway food joint, and there's no railway line. So what's he talking about? I know, I walked that train track. My son Chris, leave a comment. Have I or have I not walked that train track? Right? That's where it goes. You can go and look at it on any map. Go and Google it. Casino to Moomba railway line. And there's also Casino Run Part 3. It goes from Byron Bay to Bangalow. And then on to Lismore. So, yeah, you can go and look that up. So, if that's where he was down here. He said 5 hours. Well, that used to be a 2-hour car drive. And I said, all right, well, if that's what the highway used to be, where is the motorway today? Right, the motorway today goes, let me see, I'll get this perfectly right so you can't argue, right? It's around there, through the mountain range, along there, right? That's now where the motorway goes. So that's the west of Ballina. It cuts over the old highway. It goes the west of Byron Bay. It goes east of Ballina. There's the railway line there. It actually goes underneath the railway line. It goes through the tunnel at St. Helena. It's a big tunnel there. And that's it coming down there. And then that goes out there. So that's Mullumbimby. That's Byron Bay. So that's a big tunnel there. That one there, that's a big mountain range. Where am I looking? I've got the thing upside down. That's what I'm going to copyright. Byron Bay. So we've got a big tunnel here. And we've got another tunnel here. I think there's a second tunnel. And all the rest of it is on top of the road. Right? So if you actually look at the terrain, it sort of goes like that. That's why I said, when you come into Bangalow, you come up the top of Bangalow, and then you go down the other side of Bangalow. And then you come up there to Mount Helena, and then you come down the other side. And that's what they did. They put 2 tunnels all the way right through it. All at the top of the head. Because I've driven it. I've been there, right? I lived up there. I know. I know, like you know your backyard. It's my backyard. Anyway, that's a 1-hour video there. Give me one more. So that's what's got me confused. He said an overhead railway line. I don't know where he's got that from. And then the other thing of why the police come around. That's just got me interested. It just, if some stories sound a bit far-fetched, I'll say it, right? But if they come up there with something that sounds funny, it's, you think I can get back on this website? I think Dean Harrison must have blocked me off, I think. Fortis out of concert audio reports, newspapers, sketches, footprints, yowie signs, picture gallery, reports of sightings, Queensland, New South Wales. All right, let's go on there. Come on. Let's refresh. Look. I don't know what it's doing to me. What are you doing, you stupid thing? Oh, there it comes. Bloody computer's running slow. Try that again. Yeah, so we've got Bangalow up there. You got Lismore. There's Casino Yowies, Lismore Yowies, Bexhill Yowies. You got Wooden Bong. That's up the road there from there. Hello, somebody's on the channel. Hello, say hello. Just wait for the internet to light up. It's just gone down on me. So I don't know. It seems to have died. So whoop, now it shows up. Try again. All right, let's try another one. Let's try there again. You know, my internet's sitting right there. This is unbelievable. So hello, who's on the channel? Who's watching me? I'll say hello to you. Look, hi. Look. Yes, we are live. Come on, say hello, right? So come back and say good day. What was the one at Bexhill? Right, Bexhill's just up the road there from Bangalow. The guy gets up there off the top of my head, off my memory, this is how good I am, and he walks over the old Bexhill has got, you can look at on the map and you'll see BEX Hill, HILL, and there's a great big water dam sort of thing, and it's got the big granite walls on it. Because when I walked along the train tracks, that was the water they used for the steam train at Bexhill. Because when the steam train come up from Byron Bay, you had to get water before it went on to Lismore. Lithgow, it goes up here. Anyway, he was a kid. The corner shop's up there. There's a picture of it. You still see the Bexhill shop, the old big high tin roof. It's got the wooden rail out the front, the red payphone, the red big mailbox, all that sort of thing. It's an antique sort of historical town. Walked down the road, went over the train tracks, past the water tank, and the road comes around over the train tank, where the water tank used to be. Around the other side, there's trees, and they used to camp in there. And this thing apparently come through there in the night, and in the moonlight or something, he's seen this great big 7 foot tall thing or something. So I'll just see if we can find Bexhill. Now that's just going off memory. Let's see if I can dig it up. You know what I'm probably going to have to do? I'm probably going to have to close everything off and redo it. I've got to ring back that friend of mine too. He's probably wondering what I'm doing. He's probably saying, oh, so-and-so ring me up today. Didn't write Yowie, or wrote Yossi. Yowie Hunters, Australia. There you go. Yowie, New South Wales, the Yowie Bay. See, now why would we have a town if they weren't real? Why would we have a town called Yowie Bay? Come on, why? Because that's what the Aborigines named it. And if you want to know where it is, it's right down in the Southern Shire of Sydney. That's right. Caringbah, Cronulla, Sutherland. So there's Caringbah. I think that's Caringbah. Yeah, that's Caringbah. Yeah, that's Caringbah up there. And it's full of houses now. But you can remember 300 years ago, it was all bush, and the salt water coming off the ocean in around the bay shores and all the rocks, and have a free feed, the same as the Aboriginals did. And the Aboriginals used to say, no, that's Yowie going on. You just don't go over there. We don't go over there. They went from Cronulla up to that, and then the Yowies had from Yowie Bay around, right round to the Royal National Park. So if you look on the Royal National Park, RMP, which is east of Loftus, 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 New South Wales, you'll see the waterway. And then there's a story where the guy was up the Georges River. Well, the Georges River runs in to that back of that lagoon. And he was up the back of there, the Georges River. So there's another one. Right, reset the buddy thing. Yeah, if you remember, I used to have a tablet with a border that was here. He decided that he'd fix it for me, and it never come back the same. It never got it back. People with good intentions cause more harm than good. Always remember that, people. People say they're going to help you, cause you more problems. Well, it's not coming up. All right, let's go back. I wonder if Dean Harrison's blocked me. What is a yowie? Yowie, historical articles. All right, let's have a look at that one. I don't know what's happening. My phone's got a 404 on it. Now, as soon as I touch it, then it starts loading up. I give up. Anyway, that's it there for me, Mr. Hominoid. I'm going to end this stream. I'm going to bring back my friend. And don't forget, love your dog. Give your dog a kiss. Give your dog a hug and a cuddle, and give him some Devon. And don't go to Singapore. Stay here in Australia. Spend your money. Oh, a little bit of coronavirus update. We are open, double jab. Make sure that you have a COVID test before you leave your home country, and bring the paperwork with you or a copy of it on your phone when you come to Australia. Say that you've been tested and you're tested negative at least 3 days before you leave, because that's what we do 3 days before we leave. We get a COVID test on the Monday, and then we catch the plane. We get the COVID test result back on the Tuesday, and then you get on the plane on the Wednesday, right? So to speak. So if you want to come out to Australia, that's what you can do. So anyway, thank you to all the other people watching the channel. My last Yowie story. This is meant to be Yowie stories, but sorry, it died. As I said, I was going to be moving out of here, and I was going to be putting the girl into here, and now she's packed up and pissed off. She found herself a new boyfriend, and they've eloped. So nothing I did. I don't. I'm over 60. What do you think I'm going to do? All I do is read Yowie stories. And I've got you. You're my friends. That's all I do. Yeah, you're my little friends out there I don't ever hear from, I don't ever see, and I don't know who you are. And 100,000 views on one video I made there, and that Richmond to Currajong one, there's 510 views on that. I was just driving up the road. I mean, and yet a live stream, I'll get 10, 15 on, maybe 20. I do a Coles car park, and I've got 26. And then I do a Coles car park, and I've got 600. See? So share, like, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Bring up your statistics. So then we can go out and do a live stream once I get 1,000 subscribers. So come on, give me a push. Come on, give me a shove. I'm a silly old man. I won't be here much longer. But I'm not really silly. I think you know better than that. And just so you know, I take my own Telstra. I'm doing a plug here for Telstra. I got my own internet. And there it is there. Your Wi-Fi, right? And how that works is very simple. It is this thing. I'll show you. This thing. Little plug for Telstra, right? It's a modem. And you notice there's no cable. There's no round thread, right? So you got your house phone. Can't say that one. USB. That's your mini line from your modem, which actually is the one that plugs into the cable, plugs into, and then a white line runs from that over to this. And then the modem runs the red line into that, sorry. And that then gives you the other 4 options that go out to your different computers and printers and whatever, right? You're more computerized than me, right? But this one has actually got a mobile phone SIM card. So what I do with that, I can take that with me wherever I want to go. And because it's on the 5G network, I plug it into my 12 volt to 240 volt inverter in the car, and I can sit out in the bush. The power comes on and the mobile phone cuts in and uploads to YouTube. So I don't have to drive all the way home like I did my very first video. So I had a 1 megabyte recording, and I drive 2 or 3 hours for 1 gigabyte on 1 megagig, very nothing. And until I found out that's all I had in it. And then I deleted a lot of those videos, which I shouldn't have done. There's 400 videos I deleted. I was still kicking myself. Grid on said, you're an idiot. I am an idiot. I did it, but I was depressed. I still fight depression. You got to fight depression. You got to beat it, right? You got to fight it. Don't let people get you down. That's why I do this. I talk to you. I talk it out. I let it come out of the heart, right? It makes me feel better. Anyway, so now this thing here's got a 64 memory, 60, 68, whatever you call it. And I spent $1,000 on cameras over there. Didn't really work. And then they were getting bugs on the camera lenses, and I put them on the front of the car, mounted them. Like the Google Earth car, tried that idea, that didn't really work. So I gave all that away. So now I just take that with me, put the camera bracket up. It's a mobile phone, but once you put in a camera bracket, it's a camera, and it sits in the car. And that's easy done by using one of these, so you don't get a ticket. So New South Wales Police are watching. It's very simple. Come on, stupid. What have I done? What have I done? How have I opened that up? Oh, God. Can't see it. Oh, I think there's a button. Is there a button? Oh, there it is. I couldn't see it in the dark. See? Button comes out. And we just put our camera in there like that. Like that. And then you just set it up on your windscreen. Or in my case, you put it on your dash. Like I've got the one out there on the dash. I've got 2 of them. And that just sits there. So when you see me driving, it sits up on the dash like that, right? And then when I turn around like that, I can push the screen. So look, you can see me in the background, right? Just reflect it. Anyway, that's how you do it. $15. So don't get a $2,000 fine. Yeah, $2,000 fine. The other one was a little tripod one, which is sitting there in the car, and I made a comment in the video called broken, so some idiot broke it. Well, my great son Chris up in Ballina and his lovely wife went out there with me, and we bought 2 of those up in Ballina in Big W for $14 18 months ago. Yes, I found that underneath my boarder's bed actually. Wonder what he was doing, and that was in my room. People. So you don't trust people in your house. Live by yourself. Anyway, so we've got all our stuff there. Sorry for turning me back. Hope to see you again on YouTube. Leave me a comment. $15 for a bracket, so you're not on the phone while you're driving, aren't you? You get a ticket. So, Mr. Hominoid, give a smile on your face. Give me a slap, like, share, subscribe, leave me a comment. And we'll just a bit of fun, do we talk. And I Rocker and Bathurst 1000's coming up. We still got our Bathurst pictures here somewhere, wherever they went. Where did they all go to? God, I still got them in. Nobody's asked for them. Nobody's asked me for a Bathurst postcard anyway, so they're still there if you want them. Mr. Hominoid at Gmail. MRHOMINOID@gmail.com. And I'll send it over to you. So, Mr. Hominoid, see you later and be good and g'day from down under and be happy. God bless.